How many abused women does it take to topple a president? 1, a dozen, several hundred, or, perhaps, none at all, because when it comes to discrediting the most powerful man in the world, it is arguably more likely that America's 45th president will be ousted by financial criminality than by decades of women's voices accusing him of sexual misconduct and asking to be heard. At a time when uncomfortable facts are derided as fake news, and women's testimonies continue to be disbelieved, it is, perhaps, inevitable that sexual assault accusers are still demanding justice at the White House. And yet, in light of all we've read over the last couple of months, and all the individuals we've seen tackled and dismantled in the wake of Weinstein, Al Franken, Louis C.K., Kevin Spacey, Matt Lauer, many are now challenging the inactivity at the heart of Washington. Another day, another headline tomorrow morning, countless more. Anguish is being replaced by anger. Why is Donald J. Trump still evading those women who have stated, and keep repeating, that he crossed a line? Not once, not twice, but countless times, over 3 decades, backdated to the 1980s. This week, 3 women are stepping forward, speaking up and repeating the claims they made last year against their president. As we drag ourselves wearily into 2018, Donald Trump's past is trending again. A question that continues to go unanswered: when will words be replaced by action? Jessica Leeds, Samantha Halvey and Rachel Crooks recounted their allegations to NBC News yesterday. All 3 claim they were sexually harassed by Trump and are appealing to Congress to investigate his past behavior. Even U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley addressed their pleas, stating women who accuse anyone should be heard. And yet the official White House response shows no willingness to engage. You can't help but wonder why people aren't talking about Trump and the people that came forward for him, and why is he immune to this, Crooks told CNN last week. Crooks isn't alone. We've been pondering the same question here at the pool, too. Which is why we thought it was important to challenge the impunity currently being peddled at the White House, in between Twitter rants, Diet Coke breaks, Native American slurs and TBTS2, first-rate pussy. Many of the 15 women, detailed below, are still asking to be heard and believed. These are their stories. 1. Ivana Trump, wife and businesswoman during divorce proceedings in 1990, Donald Trump's then-wife, their marriage lasted 15 years, accused her husband of raping her. The account was subsequently retold to the public in a 1993 book titled Lost Tycoon: The Many Lives of Donald J. Trump. The alleged violent assault took place at Trump Tower after botched surgery on Donald's scalp spurred the furious patient to give his wife a taste of his suffering. According to Ivana, he, in 1989, pulled out fistfuls of her hair before assaulting her. In a statement given to the book's author before its publication, Ivana backtracked on her original court statement, saying, "I referred to this as a rape, but I do not want my words to be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense." One more quote before we call this fake news, and move on, this time from The New Yorker. Never underestimate the power of a non-disclosure agreement. Ivana signed a gag order in the divorce, which prevents her from talking about her marriage without Trump's permission. To Jill Harth, business associate. Jill Harth's case was first published in 2016 in a New York Times article entitled Crossing the Line. According to Harth's allegations, Trump aggressively crossed the line, not once, but several times. As we have many statements to get through, I'll keep things short and provide you with an incident that occurred in 1993 at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, the same Mar-a-Lago estate where Trump bantered with a golfing reporter about a first-rate pussy, while ogling a young socialite. During a contract signing celebration, Trump offered to take Hearth on a guided tour before allegedly pulling her into his daughter Ivanka's bedroom and groping her against the wall. 3 Summer Zervis, former contestant on The Apprentice after filming the 5th season of Trump's reality TV show, Zervis contacted her mentor in 2007 about a job. He responded by asking her to the Beverly Hills Hotel. So far, so Weinstein. During the course of their meeting, Zervis accuses Trump of groping her breasts and thrusting his genitals against her without her consent. At the time of the allegation, Trump replied with a shrug. "I vaguely remember Ms. Zervis as one of the many contestants on The Apprentice over the years," he said. At a campaign rally in Pennsylvania a few weeks later, he cranked things up a notch, denying the accusations and calling Zervis, and other accusers, liars. The claims, total fabrication. This year, Zervis filed a defamation lawsuit against her president. For Karina Virginia, yoga instructor when Virginia came out to accuse Trump of sexual misconduct during the 2016 election, she was the 10th woman to do so. In 2016, the lifestyle coach told The Washington Post that the Republican presidential nominee groped her as she waited alone for a car outside the U.S. Open tennis tournament in 1998. Voters are tired of these circus-like antics and reject these fictional stories and the clear efforts to benefit Hillary Clinton, the Trump campaign retorted. You can't help but wonder why people aren't talking about Trump and the people that came forward for him, and why is he immune to this? 5 Temple Taggart, former Miss USA contestant. When it comes to allegations of Trump's misconduct, an entire volume could be dedicated to the Miss USA pageant, and, in fact, Rolling Stone has done a good job of achieving this with their standout 2016 Opus A timeline of Donald Trump's creepiness while he owned Miss Universe. Trump owned the pageant for nearly 2 decades. According to Rolling Stone, that's approximately 4,000 beauty queens. Do the maths. When Taggart was introduced to Donald Trump, he greeted her with a direct kiss on the mouth. And when he invited her to Trump Tower, enticing her with modeling opportunities, Taggart said he tried his luck again. After the Access Hollywood tape came to light, you know, the one where the campaigning Republican presidential nominee Bragg grabbed them by the pussy, Trump told NBC News, "I don't even know who she is." 6 Natasha Stoynoff, journalist. It's 2005 and we're back at Trump's misogyny fun palace, aka Mar-a-Lago. 6 people have subsequently stepped forward to corroborate Stoynoff's story, which was published by People magazine in 2016. It was during an assignment for the same magazine, 12 years earlier, that Stoynoff encountered Trump's roving hands, unbeknown to his pregnant wife, Melania, who was also being profiled for the piece. "We walked into that room alone, and Trump shut the door behind us," she wrote. "I turned around, and within seconds he was pushing me against the wall and forcing his tongue down my throat." Trump's response: "Another rally, another witch hunt. She lies, look at her." "I don't think so." 7 Cassandra Searles, Miss USA contestant. Miss USA contestants must be at least 18 years of age, and under 28. Worth underlining. In 2013, when Donald Trump was approaching his 70s, the two encountered each other at the pageant. Cassandra Searles was representing the state of Washington, a symbolic piece of Trump trivia when you consider what Searles had to say 3 years later. The subject of her Facebook post: an unnamed guy, who was running for president at the time. "He probably doesn't want me telling the story about that time he continually grabbed my ass and invited me to his hotel room," she wrote. 8 Jessica Leeds, businesswoman. "He was like an octopus," Leeds told the New York Times. When a flight attendant offered the businesswoman a free seat in first class on a domestic U.S. flight, the promise of a complimentary drink sipped out of bona fide glassware no less was quickly replaced by a self-entitled hand up her skirt, an outcry of eviction, and a threatened lawsuit. His hands were everywhere. It was an assault, she later said about the incident, which occurred in the 1980s. 9. Kristen Anderson, aspiring model, another under their skirt grope, this time at the China Club, a Manhattan nightclub once referred to by a 1992 Newsday gossip quip as Donald's Monday Night Nest, a subtle nod to his womanizing ways in between wife numbers 1 and 2. 10. Kathy Heller, Mother's Day brunch attendee, he can't claim we're all liars, Kathy Heller told The Guardian. Heller attended a Mother's Day brunch in 1997 with her husband and children at, yes, you guessed it, Mar-a-Lago. He took my hand, and grabbed me and went for the lips. Heller claimed, mirroring Temple Taggart's testimony at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Leaning back to avoid his advances, Heller described what happened next, and he said, "Oh, come on, he was strong. And he grabbed me and went for my mouth and went for my lips." He probably doesn't want me telling the story about that time he continually grabbed my ass and invited me to his hotel room 11. Mindy McGilvra, friend of an event photographer Weinstein had flanneling Trump had Mar-a-Lago. The next allegation dates back to 2003 at his Florida resort. All of a sudden I felt a grab, a little nudge. I think it's my friend Ken Davidoff's camera bag. That was my first instinct. I turn around and there's Donald, she told a local paper. 12. Rachel Crooks, receptionist at Trump Tower. I'm so thankful that other women are having the courage to come forward, but, yes, I do feel forgotten, the ex-receptionist told CNN last week. Crooks was 22 when she took a job as a receptionist for a real estate company based inside Trump Tower. She greeted Trump himself, almost daily. On one occasion, Crooks alleges that Trump, after asking if she modeled, kept repeatedly kissing her until he finally kissed her on the lips. I was so upset that he thought I was so insignificant that he could do that, she told the New York Times. 13. Jessica Drake, porn star and sex educator. In 2016, Jessica Drake became the 11th woman to come forward with allegations against Donald Trump. Drake alleges that a decade ago Donald Trump grabbed her and 2 other unnamed women and kissed them, without asking permission. She then claims he offered her $10,000 plus use of his private plane if she agreed to come back to his room. Donald Trump's response: much like previous replies, if in doubt, insult. Mr. Trump does not know this person, does not remember this person, and would have no interest in ever knowing her, the Trump campaign commented. 14. Nini Laaksonen, former Miss Finland. Weeks after Drake's account, Laaksonen became the 12th. With only a fortnight to go until the U.S. election, the former Miss Finland described an incident that occurred moments before she appeared with Trump on The Late Show with David Letterman in 2006. Trump stood right next to me and suddenly he squeezed my butt. He really grabbed my butt, she told Finnish tabloid Ilta-Sanomat. Somebody told me there that Trump liked me because I looked like Melania when she was younger, she added. It left me disgusted. 15. Samantha Holvey, Miss USA contestant. A busy dressing room at the Miss USA pageant in 2006. Enter from stage right Donald Trump. He lined all of us up, Holvey recounted to NBC this week. I thought this was going to be like a meet and greet. I was just simply there for his pleasure. It left me feeling very gross, very dirty, like, this is not what I signed up for. At Madame George.